U.S. trade officials are promoting the Transpacific Partnership as an export boom for agriculture. But National Farmers Union continues to stand strong in their defense of independent farmers and ranchers who will see little benefit if Congress were to pass this trade agreement. National Farmers Union, representing nearly 200,000 family farmers and ranchers, have produced a letter signed by 160 food, farm, and rural groups opposing the TPP. Joining us tonight for more on that is Roger Johnson. He is the president of the National Farmers Union. Roger, good to have you with us tonight.
Good to be with you.
Why is it a bad deal for farmers? Cutting right to it. Producers and ranchers, why is it a bad deal?
You know, if you look at the history of the other trade agreements we've signed, it's really interesting. We have deeper trade deficits with countries with whom we have trade agreements than we do with the rest of the world where we don't have trade agreements.
And that's just a measurement that it's not equal.
It's just what it says is that we're doing the wrong thing with these trade agreements. One of the things we tell our trade negotiators, we collectively in the country, Congress, is we just say we want more trade. More trade is good. We somehow suggest that more trade, whether it's imports or exports, they're both more trade, that it's the same thing. And they're not the same thing. Imports and exports are like deposits or withdrawals in your checking account, Ed. I mean, to say you want more money running through your checking account is all fine till you find out that there's going to be more withdrawals than there are deposits.
So why aren't other countries taking our agricultural products? And I understand on the TPP we would be mandated to take so many of their agricultural products.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is that there are incentives that are built into these agreements for other countries to sell us more and for us to get less of a less good deal when we sell to them. The biggest issue we have with trade agreements is that we end up with this deep trade deficit. It's something over $500 billion a year. That's millions of jobs that are outsourced to other countries. And it's a drag on our GDP of 3%.
So your members of the National Farmers Union, your family farmers, want to know one thing, I believe. If the TPP goes through, is my life going to be miserable? Is it going to be harder to make profit on the land?
Sure. Let's take beef as an example. It's the biggest lobby in Congress right now from the ag sector trying to promote TPP is the beef industry. Beef industry is largely controlled by multinational packers. In fact, the largest ones in this country aren't even from this country. They're foreign-owned packers. Their goal is to buy beef cheap as you can anywhere in the world and sell it here. That's exactly what they do. When you look at the beef industry and its performance in trade, we have about $1 billion trade surplus in beef with countries that we don't have trade agreements with, and we have about a $3 to $4 billion trade deficit with countries with whom we do have trade agreements.
So the family ranchers have been able to counter this by selling, hey, I'm your local producer, I have better quality, you know where your food is coming from.
Of course.
Label it, you know, and they're fighting that as well.
Yep.
So it's the big guys, the big corporations are the ones that are controlling this in Congress and pushing it in a big way.
Of course. And so the reason we have this big trade deficit is because these large multinational packers are bringing in this cheaper product from other countries around the world, peddling it to us. It's cheaper for us to buy it that way, and we end up with this ever-increasing trade deficit.
Is TTIP the same thing, but on the other side of the world?
Yeah, I mean, TTIP it's similar in a lot of ways. I mean, it's the big difference is that you have probably more equal kinds of economies between the U.S. and the EU as opposed to.
But we would
TPP.
see more beef coming in from Vietnam, correct?
Well, and from all the countries. I mean, one of the things that the promoters say is we're going to be able to export more beef to the rest of these TPP, Japan in particular. Problem is, these other 11 countries, they see the same thing. They want to export more of their beef to us, and that's likely what happened.
All right, Roger Johnson, President of the National Farmers Union. Good to have you with us tonight. Thanks so much.